fans, feeling right. Raise a glass to a new start, bringing in the year's prize tag. Join Betty, Pat, and Billie Jean for a night like you've never seen.
Hello, hello, hello. Well, I hope everybody can hear me. I've got my phone on. Hi, Simply Debbie Sue. Yeah, I don't have my teeth in. I'm not going to put them in. I thought if these friends of mine can't take me the way I am, then I'm not going to continue this. Hi, Palm Beach, Peter. Hello, everyone. Hello, my friend Billie Jean, and to his elegant mother, director. Blessings to you from Peter and Mom in Florida. Well, we're glad that you stopped in also. It's so cold here. The snow is so terrible. But at least I can put on these glasses that don't have no lenses in them. My film glasses, film. I guess it really don't matter if I can see with them. My eyes have gotten kind of bad here lately. Yeah, everything's going good here. We're snowed in. Oh, it's bad. We've got everything we need. The electricity has not gone off. I've got 4 cats in the house because it's so cold out there. The ice and snow is so deep. It's about a foot, I'd say. And the car, because I have my carport all packed full of antiques and stuff, was going to have that big garage sale that I got sick and I couldn't. But finally, I got everything taken care of and got the car windows covered up, and I got I put grocery bags on the windows so that if Mother and I had to have an emergency and go somewhere, then, we would be able to do it. Let me read a few comments, y'all. Simply Debbie Sue said, we love you just the way you are. Well, I love y'all too. I do. Y'all make my life a joy, and mothers too. But when I had my teeth taken out to have implants, they didn't tell me there's so much involved. And so I thought, well, I'm going to be able to use those teeth, and I'll wear them occasionally, but most of the time I don't wear them because they just drive me to, if I was a drinking person again, that I'd be drunk half the time. That's the way those teeth, they just sit in that glass and look at me, and I think, you just stay in the damn glass because I'm not putting you in my mouth. They're uncomfortable. Okay, so there's Diane Thistlewood. I'll take Billie Jean anywhere I can get him. Yes, the weather is terrible here in Massachusetts. I'm not going to say it because I'll jinx myself, but I'm watching TV, if that tells you anything. Honey, that's all we've done is watch TV. Yesterday, well, Mother has got on this kick. Now, if y'all ever get on this kick, let me know. It's of turning the prices right on when Bob Barker, was hosting the show. We love it. We love watching it. And on YouTube, like we all don't know what YouTube is, there's about a 5, 7 minutes, 8-minute part of the show where they're playing these certain games you know, and we watched those shorts. I guess they're called shorts because they're only 5, 7, 10 minutes, something like that. But they're really fun to watch. So then last night we got on to the Beverly Hillbillies one night, the old black and white Beverly Hillbillies. We watched that. And then last night we got on the one where the train comes around the bend. That tells you a lot, don't it? Well, it's got the three girls and the mother. They run that hotel in Hooterville. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Well, we watched that last night and partially today. So, you know, everything's to close down everywhere. The churches are off. Mother couldn't watch her church this morning because I turned it on for her like I always do. And it was a Thanksgiving service. She said, well, I think I've seen that. I said, well, yeah, if it's Thanksgiving, you watched it back at Thanksgiving. So I didn't continue with it. Dorothy says, we only got an inch or two this area of Nebraska, but cold weather days. So the kids didn't have school Friday, and they probably may not tomorrow. Well, I doubt they will. There's D. Good evening. All, hey, Billy, Jean, and Mama. Oh, we're all snowed in tonight. Hoping everyone is staying warm tonight. There's Beverly White from my neck of the woods. I'm so happy to catch you. Well, good to see all of you. Y'all, I missed you. It's been over a month since I've done a live, but they had my yard and the roads with that fiber optics that tore up. I still don't know if it's finished or even any better, but we'll know after tonight, won't we? But I couldn't come on because my voice was cut out. I looked like them China. Y'all remember them when we had the air TV antennas? There'd be a movie on Friday night movie or something like that. And we lived out at the ranch, so we had a small satellite dish back then. Even they were very expensive, but my father got one somewhere, and we had one. But the Chinese fight movies and they'd talk, and then their voice would follow the English voice, and you'd see the Oriental mouth and the English. But that's the way I felt on these lives without the internet being up to par. Okay, Grandma Teresa, Ohio, most of us are under a level 3 snow emergency, not allowed on the roads. Now I watched Grandma Teresa. I tuned in. She told me that she was going to have her live last night. So I tuned in to her live. She's got a small channel, y'all, that's just starting out. So help Grandma Teresa and subscribe to her channel. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel because there's a lot of you falling off that have told me, well, I don't get your notifications. Well, it's because you're not subscribed, I'm pretty sure. You've got to check that because the powers that be will unsubscribe you. Simply Debbie and Dorothy both put in here Petticoat Junction. Of course, it's Petticoat Junction with Badia. Well, there's several there, but that's a fun show, Petticoat Junction. I remember watching it when I was a little boy. Bobby Joe and Betty Joe. That's right, Grandma Teresa. Beverly White, I'm afraid I'm going to be trapped in my house most of the week because of this ice, and the temperature is not going to do anything to melt it. No, for you that don't know, North Texas, Southeast Oklahoma, well, all the South, this part of the South. Today, it just got through snowing some more, but the temperature is not getting any further up than 17 degrees. So that big foot of snow or whatever, it's not going to melt till next week, not this coming week. I'm talking about a week from tomorrow. Seems like there's a day or two that's 37, but it's not going to be long enough for it to do anything to this, because when I went out under my carport, and I was going to trash when I slipped down yesterday, at least it was, I didn't have to step up as far. Today, I've had to step up like somebody had built a concrete slab above the car porch. So it's pretty deep. And I imagine all of you up north, well, I don't know. You know, this storm was the most unusual storm anybody had seen, or what they told me. So we don't know. Dorothy says, we miss your live chats too, but love watching the yummy things you make for you and your mom. Well, I just try to do my best. And tonight, I cut some of that. I didn't make chicken and dumplings because y'all, I made those quiche this morning early. And then I made some, if y'all ever, down in Texas and everywhere, we have La Madeleine, which is a French bakery, well known. It was started in because the kids went to OU up at Norman, Oklahoma. The family started this and it put them all over. You know, I don't know if they're up north or anything like that, but La Madeleine Bakery. And I always liked their potato pancakes, galettes. And so I had a friend get the recipe for me. I don't know where he got it, but so that's what I made this morning on that video. Well, lo and behold, this is the weirdest thing I've ever done. I would make my quiche and stuff, but the little portion y'all got on the video, when I cut it off there at the end of putting the quiche into the oven, I guess the cats had gotten me so distracted that for some reason I left the camera running. And I was talking to those damn cats, trying to get them in, and I have the microphone, which I don't have them on when I do live, unless I need to. I don't know how to put it on yet. I've got microphone. Grandma Lois has been wearing hers, and I don't know how she got it to do with her iPad, but I haven't checked into it. But back to the cats, I was letting them in and out, and I'd gone outside. This was all on this film, you know. And so I guess when I came back in, I thought that I had the film off. So I punched record to finish my potato galettes. Well, it didn't pick up. So when I went to edit that, I was talking to cats and birds and falling around and cussing and screaming. And I know y'all would have thought it's funny, but I thought I can't put that on. Since we all know each other, I couldn't put that on to be perpetual, because you realize these videos are going to be on for forever. And I thought, these people think I'm damn lunatic. So I didn't put that on. So you got part of a video this morning, but that's what we had. Is tonight we had red beans and the cornbread. That cornbread didn't turn out good, y'all. Yesterday I made. For some reason, it's more like cake, and it was because I put that cake flour, but I couldn't find my all-purpose flour. Finally, I found it today. It was where I'd put it, you know. So I'll just have to make another pan of cornbread. Grandma Patrice says, thank you so much. Beverly White says, you mentioned the Beverly Hillbillies. Before I was even born, my grandpa was sure I was going to be a girl and called me his little Beverly Hillbilly, and that's what I was named after. Well, I'll be darned, Beverly. That's interesting. My grandma even made little hillbilly dresses for my first picture. I bet that's cute. Yeah, I bet that's cute. Let me see. I think I've said howdy do to everybody. I'm sitting there looking on my telephone because I can't see over there. So might as well forget. Mama's in there. She's watching. She's directing. I just got through rolling her hair. I'm not good at that either, y'all. Don't ever ask me, because she's got those little pink fuzzy rollers. I've got 2 sets of hot rollers that I found. Well, I sure in the heck can't use those very well. So those little, let me get a drink. I'm gonna have some Tang. Uh-huh. So those pink hair rollers is what they got little brads on them. I get her hair and I put it in there and I just roll it. You'd think I could do a better job, but she likes it. She says it's a lot. Well, I say it's anything's a lot better than nothing. So I got that rolled up, and I can. Let's see if I can. Y'all, maybe. Let me see here. I can show y'all outside of my window. I don't know if y'all can see that because these studio lights, you may not be able to. Let me see if I can get there. I don't know. Can y'all see that? That's down my road, and it's totally white. So there's some of my flowers, my plants. That's a casket bench there. That's a bench that they put dead bodies in. That one's never been used, but it's from the Victorian time. And so that's what I'm doing. Oh, barely get anything done anymore. All right, let me see. All right, maybe. Let's see if I've got. Oh, let's see, Benny. Oh, there I go. I had to put that curtain over that door over here. Not a curtain, shipping blanket. You can buy those at Harbor Freight, dirt cheap. If you need a good kind of blanket or something, go up to Harbor Freight if y'all have them. And those blankets are the moving blankets that are quilted. I think like $4 or $5, and they're huge. I get them for everything. I get them to put in the doors here because our house is so drafty. I've got to get the guys to come and try to fix it. But I hope y'all can see outside. That was just too much. Let me go down my list, y'all. Beverly, that cornbread was not worth. Well, it was fine. It wasn't my best, and I guess it's probably my worst. But I just couldn't find the flour. So the Swan's flour, yeah, I won't use that again for cornmeal. It was more like hot tamale, matzo meal. That's what it kind of, if I'd have used matzo meal to make a cornbread, that's what it was. It wasn't it wasn't so bad it was inedible. But I just like my cornbread to be yellow and have some density to it. Mama's in there, Grandma Teresa. Dorothy said, finally, I did something to get the picture too. There's Linda. Good to see you, Linda. Hi, Billie Jean. David, glad we kept power. Oh, I am too, David. Well, I had it all worked out. 2 years ago, I put in the big Dearborn heater like we used to have down at the ranch. This is one of those white ones. But that's what my daddy always put in our homes, because he was an architect and he'd build homes. We always had a fireplace, and then in every nook and cranny, we always had a gas receptacle or a stove was put there, just in case. And we always had a gas hot water heater, never electric. We usually always had a gas stove, never electric. But in this house, I have an electric stove, but I have a gas hot water heater, a gas furnace. But my furnace is on the blink right now. The motor that they put in there about 2.5 years ago, not under warranty, of course. I couldn't find nothing. It went out. So I told Mother, I said, that's going to cost an arm and a leg. We just, let's just turn these heaters on. So I put that big heater in here just in case we ever had an ice storm. Didn't think, well, we were going to have an ice storm because we don't usually have it like this that I remember. But you know what? That big old Dearborn heater, it's right at because we have a fireplace in the middle of this house. It's a see-through from like the 1980s. You know, you had doors on both sides and you had logs. You put your fire in the middle. But I don't want to set a fire in there unless I just have to, because I've got to see about getting that chimney. I'm afraid it might have some soot up in it or something and catch the chimney on fire. Because that happened at one of our homes years ago. The flue got a fire, and thank God Daddy got it out. And of course, the house here was built in about 1983. So the gas line that was in the fireplace had gotten iffy. You know, you could turn your fire starter on and you'd smell it. So I told Mother, I said, so I got a sledgehammer and I beat that brick out and put that stove in myself by watching YouTube, you know. But I got it all put in, and they came and checked it and made sure it was done correctly. I made sure I had somebody look at it. And so that's what saved us, because the room that I'm in is where my art studio and den is, kind of the den, but this is where I film now. And I've got my desk over here and a green screen and all that, and my health went way belly up, so I haven't got to finish that. This whole house is full of nothing but antiques and glassware and china, and in the kitchen it's nothing but cooking utensils. I've got enough for 5 houses probably. So that's just the way it goes, I guess, until my health, but it's getting a lot better. I was feeling really bad after that iron infusion, y'all. I thought it was about to kill me. And then my friend from Arkansas said her sister had that same kind of iron. Let me see what it's called. We're just here talking anyway tonight, so what does it matter? Let me see, I put that down so I remember. The iron that was infused in me, and David, you may know if you're still on there, dextran. I had a dextran iron reaction. So that's what was so weird about something that kind of pissed me off, is because they started me out on that dextran knowing, well, they didn't know, well, they should have. You know, I'm so allergic to anything, medications and all that stuff. I'm just totally allergic to it. And I told the girl, you know how you have those third eye or those feelings? Well, when I got up that morning, I thought, you know, I don't know if I'm going to make it through this today. And I told Mother, I said, Mother, she said, well, I want to go with you. And I said, well, Mama, I guess you can, because it wasn't cold. It wasn't storming or nothing. I said, but we'll only be in there about 20 minutes. Well, when I got there, finally got checked in, got to the cancer center, the lady said, I said, hon, how long will it be that Mother and I have to be? 6 hours. I said, 6 hours? I said, Mother, I need to just take you back home and you stay there on the bed with your little medic alert, because you don't need to sit over here for no 6 hours. I want to, and da-da-da. And I said, okay, Mother. So still having that weird feeling about that iron infusion. I never had one. And the lady said, well, I'm going to put a test dose into your IV. Test dose, she did it. Wasn't nothing wrong. Mother and I was sitting there talking and nothing went wrong. So they waited 30 minutes. Then she brought the bag of iron and she put that in. I bet it wasn't 3 to 5 minutes. and I felt like my kidneys, my back, lower back where the kidneys are, was thump like you could feel your heart beating in them. My throat started feeling like it was going to kind of close up. I started itchy kind of, and I told that girl, I said, I'm not so sure how this is supposed to feel, but I don't think I'm feeling like I should. And she stopped that immediately. So said, how are you feeling? I told her the boy, we wasn't, I bet 10 seconds. There was doctors all around me and everything, nurses, and they was doing this and doing that and taking my blood pressure and giving me a shot, and it's just too much. So when I got out of there, y'all, I didn't really feel like driving home, but that's all I could do because I was 30 minutes away from the hospital. So I sat there for about 30 minutes, and then Mother and I decided to come on. Mother can still drive if she had to. She really could. But it's the other people that's why I don't let her drive, because these people in the traffic, they just speeds around you, and you can get in a bad wreck. But so I felt not up to par that whole few days. And then I thought, and I was still feeling bad. Like that was on a Thursday or Friday, and I was still feeling bad by Tuesday or Wednesday. Not not worth anything, y'all. Didn't even want to do those videos, but I had to cook, so I might as well just turn it on. Y'all say turn on the video, whatever you're doing. So I do. Then I'll just edit it a little bit, and then it goes up online, because I can't sit there and edit all that stuff, put those uh, intros and all that stuff like I used to do. I'm not going to do it. I can't. I just don't feel like it. So by Thursday, I called the pharmacy and I said, "Do you have the B12 shot?" Remember, that was a revelation for me one time. Y'all, it helped me so good. I thought, well, I haven't had that for a week. Maybe it's that B12. Went and got it, and that by that evening, I felt like I was getting my mind back. I felt like because my hands were just, I couldn't hold on nothing. The top of my legs felt like jello. But by that afternoon, I haven't stopped since. So it gave me a lot of boost. But I asked them to I texted my doctor and I said, instead of 1 cc, I want a half cc twice a month instead of 1 cc twice a month. So I think alleviating that half a cc, it's got it right now, and I'll be okay. Now on the iron infusions, I'm not against having it done again with a different iron, because Sheila is from Arkansas, and the one her sister was uh, nearly killed. She said they finally found one that she could withstand. But it's going to take a lot of convincing for me after the way I felt. Y'all can understand how you would uh, have reservations about that. Let me see I don't even know how long we've been on here. Do y'all know? Okay, let me look down here. Beverly White, if you ever need any heating or AC work done, my son-in-law has a company, and I would be more than happy to save him your way. Thank you, Beverly. I may be letting you know. Will you please email me at justmebillyjean@yahoo.com if you're not on the Billy Jean's Facebook? Because I don't have, we've talked, and I know you're in my area. If I needed somebody, I would call you, but I don't have to get in touch with you. And I'm not going to put the phone number out on this, because like I said, this is perpetual, and I hope to keep my phone number until I'm dead. So I don't want a bunch of texts coming in of people that just want to wish me, and it'll ding the phone, and I just can't have all that. Dorothy was saying, yes, the advised fireplace chimney cleaned every year before each winter. My son is going to have a beautiful fireplace, but he said too expensive to buy wood, so they got a big one that looks, I guess, electric one that looks real. David says, has high reaction that some new options. Has high reaction rates than some newer options, I believe. I think so, David, but I think they told me there's only about 4 irons you can take. Uh, and that, of course, that's the first one that they put anybody on because of insurance purposes. It doesn't matter if it's Humana or if it's United Healthcare or if it's Medicare or Medicaid. They're going to start you out on this lower price iron. And the weird thing is when somebody, I'm not going to say where, or it wouldn't be a name, it'd be a position, told me that this iron that they gave me was the one that most people had bad reactions to. Well, why keep giving it to people if it's so dangerous? You know, that's just because you're trying to satisfy an insurance claim. I think that's terrible. I think they need to be sued for that. Because the doctor said, well, we'll just have to work it out the next one with your insurance, and then we have to upgrade to the next one, and the next one if you can't take, and then the next one you might be able to take. And I was like, yeah, hell, after I'm dead, or feel like I'm gonna be dead, I just rather do without the iron. I know you gotta have it, but and I asked them about taking iron pills. Well, they don't work. And my iron level was, I think, 8%. I'm not sure. I'd have to look. So we'll get that figured out. I thought this tell me we've been on here 32:21. I thought it told me how long we've been on. Well, I hope y'all are staying safe, safe, safe. Don't go out and take the trash and break your neck like I nearly did. I've scratched this arm up from the patio furniture I fell against. I tell you, I'm gonna have to get me somebody to come help me because no, I don't want anybody. I'll keep doing and doing. And mother, I won't let her do anything because she can't. There's no way I would let her even get outside, for this. We can't. I told her, I said, Mom, if you break that other hip, if you break your hip again, I am not going to be able this time to take care of you. So you would have to go somewhere because I can't. Last time I was okay to take care of her, but this time I'm not so sure I could. If I got down and she, had to go help her get her food and all that, there's no way that I think that we could make it. But we're doing fine now. That's all I look, and the good Lord has blessed me. I always told my sister in a not really joking way, because we don't joke about God or religion. I told her, I said, my hands are healing hands. I said, I've prayed for people and they were healed. So the other night, she lives way out in the country, and the other night, she has this big old bird dog. And he's old. And so we were out there. Remember, we went Thanksgiving to their house to have Thanksgiving lunch. And she said, well, he's gone deaf. That dog's gone deaf they've had to pack his ears or something, but it's been months. So she said, he went deaf after that. And I said, so his name's Dan. I said, oh, let me, I was standing outside and I said, let me put my hands on him. I'm going to pray for Dan. So I put my hands on him. I prayed for Dan to get his ears here and all that because I was afraid he'd get out in front of cars or old trucks or something. So I prayed for Dan. Well, that's been Thanksgiving. So then Monday or Tuesday Thursday of last week, she called and mother said, well, they talk about Dan like, that's my sister that lost her son, only child, and her husband has cancer, lung cancer. He's doing fine. She said, how about Dan? And she said, well, I thought he ran off, and I called and called, and finally he come running. I said, Mother, did she say that that dog heard her calling him? And she said, yes, I think so, Mary. Yes, he can hear. I said, you remember I prayed for him on Thanksgiving to get his hearing back. It just floored her. She said, he does hear now. I said, I told you that I had healing hands. And I do. I think I've helped a lot of people, really not knowing it, just praying for them, and healing their hands. I think God gave me that little gift, and my grandmother, I think, had it too. So I know God's going to take care of all of us, all y'all. Just let me know. We pray, and we'll see if it don't change. Okay, y'all. I'm going to have to get off here because Mama is going to want her medicine and watch some more Price is Right. And I may get in there and make a chocolate meringue pie. I have been wanting it so bad. I've already got my crust made, and I've already got it pre-baked. So if y'all were here, y'all could have some chocolate pie.